Doing well. Thank you for asking. The second half got started off, I believe, like 33 points in just first 8 minutes of the second half. I've talked with a few of the players about those surges, those scoring surges where, the offense is flowing, defense is turning into offense, you're balancing the threes out. I mean, overall, just those long stretches of offensive play, the frequency of that, has it really improved in your eyes now versus the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think, those are obviously great moments. I mean, those are moments of the game, we call them cycles, and those runs that you go on. Obviously, we had a great run in the third quarter the other night against Sacramento. We got to do a better job of creating more of those, on a nightly basis. So, it's something we stress with the guys. We create so much of our offense off of our defense, whether it's, creating turnovers, getting stops, long rebounds. Inherently allows us to get out and run. But, trading baskets back and forth, is, kind of a common theme right now. So we've got to do a better job, I think, in 48 minutes, really establishing our tone with, our defensive activity, creating those cycles earlier, getting the ball movement, and it can always just be the transition game. Even in the half court, I thought in that third quarter, we had some moments where we were getting on transition, but then, some great execution where we just get into next actions, whether it's an extra drive, extra pick and roll, extra dribble handoff action. The ball was moving with a lot of great energy in that third quarter. So when we're doing that, it allows us to get a lot of, cleaner looks, just creates better energy for us on the offensive end. So definitely something we're striving to have more for 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach, you guys are going through the same thing the Suns are. How have you been able to navigate this and still coach a team when key guys are out?
Yeah, it definitely poses its challenges, but I also look at it as it, creates opportunities. So obviously I give our entire staff, our players, a lot of credit for the adaptability, obviously with this new surge coming out, worldwide, especially across the NBA, in our little bubble right now. And we talked about, hey, this is how we addressed it last year. We got to get creative and adapt, and we're having to move things around from practices or being more virtual, and obviously attentive to all the protocols and trying to stay as safe as possible. Our guys are doing a great job of that. I think our medical team does a great job educating everyone and identifying those that, may be at risk right now. And trying to keep this, train moving forward as best as possible. So, I think, we're definitely not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. But as much as we can control, just, still doing our preparation. But, however that is in terms of being creative on a daily basis, when are we going to practice? When are we going to do walkthroughs and shoot arounds and team film sessions? It's kind of just a daily process. So we try not to get too inundated of like, what's this going to be 2 weeks from now or a week from now? Are we going to be in the clear? Just take it one day at a time. We've got a tremendous challenge today against the Suns. We prepared as a team virtually today. Hopefully we'll come out and have great edge and great urgency tonight to try to get a win on the road. And then tomorrow will be a new day. It'll present new challenges, but new opportunities. And I've got a lot of faith in our players and our staff to be able to overcome all this right now.
Did you and Kevin go fast?
Yeah, he was with the Utah Flash, and then I'm trying to remember what his next stop was. But yeah, Kevin and I, we go way back to our D League days, well before the G League. So yes.
How many experiences do you remember about him as a coach?
Coach with a lot of passion. I remember seeing him on the sideline even when we were going up against each other as assistant coaches. Young coaches coming up in the league. Obviously, has a lot of attention to detail, obviously creative mind defensively and offensively, had some, interactions here and there, but obviously seeing his trajectory as a coach, I've heard a lot of great things about his, development as a coach, but the biggest thing underlying was just his passion for the game. You could just see that on the sidelines. That was definitely something not lost on me.
Coach, how hard is it to prepare for a team with everything going on with COVID? Because their lineup could change, your lineup could change. Do you prepare for a team, or do you just prepare to do what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question in terms of, how do you balance that preparation? For us, it always starts with, what's our game plan for ourselves? What do we have to do to establish, our defensive mentality, our offensive mentality? Doesn't matter who we're playing. We got to go out and pretty much execute what we do from a, team fundamental standpoint with our defensive activity, offensively, how we play with pace and we move the ball. That's a non-negotiable. That's what we do every single night. But, obviously we do our best that we can. We prepare for the team that we expect to play, as best as possible. And when there's changes, our guys have a great ability to, study all the personnel on the roster. They're watching all kinds of film. The game plan doesn't drastically change. When guys are coming in and out of the rotation, we try to keep it pretty simple to go out there and say, hey, this is what we do pretty much every single night. Here are the kind of little, nuances of the game plan as it's specific to maybe the Suns or another team. But if it's got to change a little bit, our guys are really good at adapting on the fly and going out there and just playing basketball.
We'll go to the microphone.
Hey, Taylor, we talked about the the 0.5 offense, and the Suns are another team that play that way as well. One of the top assist teams, just like you guys. Two-part question here: what are the challenges to defending that 0.5 offense where the ball is moving the way it is? And then I saw you mentioned preparing virtually earlier. Just what went in today preparing virtually as a team in comparison to the way you typically prepare?
Yeah, 0.5 basketball is something obviously we stress with our guys. It's when you hear about pace, you think about transition offense, but it's more than that. It's the multiple actions on the offensive end. It's the randomness in which you play with, but with discipline behind it in terms of the execution of ball screens, dribble handoffs, maybe it's off ball screens, spacing behind that. I mean, the Suns do it, at the highest level. There's only probably a small few teams that you can look at and say, hey, they're the lead standard. But to face that, you've got to be on your toes. Communication is a big key, getting back, from the offensive possession, the defensive possession, and just being locked in. Obviously, this is a team that's going to play a lot of early pick and roll, but they don't score off the first action. There's a great chance that ball's going to be whipping around the floor with drive and kick and next pick and roll actions as well, especially with a lot of shooting out there. So, our on-ball defense, our weak side defense, you've got to be on a string. All five guys got to be ready to make an impact on the initial action, the second action. That's things that we drill as a team, kind of scramble rotations and multiple actions on the defensive end too. So try to prepare ourselves for how we want to play offensively and defensively, but it's a harder challenge than what you can practice against. So definitely a challenge. And then in terms of, virtual, obviously we try to stick to the same thing. Obviously we couldn't, we didn't want to get on the floor and subject our guys, obviously with everything going on with COVID right now. Obviously it's a back-to-back. So, Zoom, obviously no plug for Zoom, but, Zoom is a very popular technology now. It's helped us out a lot. As a staff, we watch Zoom, we use Zoom, to go over our report, watch the film. We put the film on the iPads for the players so they can watch it before our team meeting and then open up the floor for guys to talk about personnel, tendencies, game plan. We even watch the film. Luckily, we were able to get it to, kind of stream pretty cleanly for the guys, asking questions, hey, run that clip back and all that stuff. So very similar process to what we've always done in terms of our, approach to preparing for an opponent. Obviously couldn't do it in person, but again, I give our guys a lot of credit, understanding, hey, we still got to be locked in. Let's know the personnel. Let's know the game plan. Let's know what, plays we got to be prepared for. What kind of defense are they going to throw out there against us? I mean, they're second best defense in the league. So just got to get creative, and our guys, they understand this is the world that you got to live in at times, and now we just got to carry it onto the floor tonight.
Coach, with that, so you talked about, dealing with different lineups. After yesterday with John Conchar stepping into that starters, will you go with the same starters tonight, against the Phoenix Suns, or do you have a different lineup change?
No, same starters tonight. I thought John gave us a great boost. Obviously, he's the ultimate team guy. I thought he did a lot of great things offensively and defensively, moving the ball. I thought his on-ball team defense as well was really good. I thought the starting unit gave us a good boost. Obviously, in that third quarter, they really jumped out, but I thought he did a lot of good things well. And we'll see, over the next couple of games, how things play out. Obviously it's definitely preparing for our opponents. What's the best matchups, but for us, we want to have the best chemistry as possible. And we're obviously trying to create some new chemistry with our starters and our bench units. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody. Yep.